Hi there. Welcome to New Hope Lutheran Church and Pastor Charlie's Toolbox. So, I want to begin today with a question for you. Do you know where you are? If you don't know where you are, how can you find out? You know, one of the cool things that has come out of technology is something called GPS tracking. You can use something as common as a phone to find out where you are, or if you're traveling somewhere, you can get yourself this kind of a GPS unit for your car. So I've turned on this unit and essentially it tells me where I am. Now, if I were to type in an address, which could be almost anywhere, this address, it will give me directions on how to get there. Of course, the one problem I have with the GPS is that it only tells me where I am right now. And although it's great for giving directions, it doesn't tell us where we will all pass through on the way to our destination. It doesn't tell us how far we have to go on a certain road until we actually get to that road. It doesn't show us what's ahead on our journey. It only shows me where I am right now. Now, if you go old school, you might use what's called a map. And a map is great because it gives us an overview of what we're going to encounter and helps us understand the area as a whole. So I have here northwestern Ontario, and you can see where various roads go. You can see where parklands are located. You can even find an airport on this map. And it also shows you if you're going to go by a lake or river or something scenic. So you get a rough idea of the whole trip by using a map. Now, a map has its downsides, of course, because it doesn't give us precise directions like exactly when to turn onto another road. You may know a road is coming up, but you can easily also go right past it and miss it. In some ways, the two of these things are a little bit like our life journeys. We usually live our lives like we are using the GPS. We know where we are here and now, but we aren't always sure of where we're going, especially if we don't have a map to give us an overview of what might be ahead. And that brings us to our gospel lesson from Luke 24 here. Jesus has made an appearance to his disciples, and when he appears, he announces they should be at peace. Like that is something that normally happens when a dead person shows up in your home you've locked yourself into. But the disciples were working from the perspective of a GPS. They knew that they had journeyed through a time when Jesus died, and they were now in the aftermath of that. This is where we are, was their mindset. What they had forgotten, though, was that Jesus had already given them a bit of a map when days or even weeks before he told them he would rise from the dead after 3 days. I guess they must have forgotten that part. The lesson goes on to say Let Jesus open their minds so they could understand scriptures. What he was doing, in essence, was getting them to understand something about what would come in their journey ahead. Essentially, he was giving them a map with an overview for the rest of their life journey. At the same time, though, you could say he was also programming them with a final address for their individual GPS. And that's why it's important for us to study the scriptures and what they have to say to us about Jesus and about a number of other topics. Through that study, we too can find Jesus opening our minds, which can be like giving us both directions from where we are now and a bit of an overview of what is ahead of us. So I encourage you to make use of this map that is contained in our scriptures.